Hey, what's up? This is Joe. I'm in St. Augustine, Florida, about an hour north of Daytona Beach, just resting up before Bike Week. I wanted to make this video to share with you the journey up through East Texas. Basically, my first stop after I crossed the border back into the United States was to my buddy Road Glide Renee, who's got an awesome YouTube channel, Instagram, check him out. He's an interesting guy who actually works for Border Patrol and had a couple of days off, was able to take me on kind of a VIP tour of the U.S.-Mexico border, which ended up being quite an interesting experience. Up through Victoria, Texas, where I accidentally set up camp in a den of wild hogs. And then, of course, riding through the big city of Houston, where in the past I'd spent a lot of time, and then ultimately coming out on the Louisiana Bayou. So if you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as always, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box if you'd like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road. I've been to 29 out of 32 states of Mexico. Awesome. Awesome. Appreciate it. Check it out. Yep. I had just ridden from 600 miles south of the border to McAllen, Texas, and was hauling ass as there'd been a cold front that kept me stuck in Mexico. I desperately needed to hurry so I could get to Florida in time to rest up before Bike Week. Before I went any further, I would need a new front tire, as mine had developed a serious cupping issue, which made the bike feel really unstable on the highway, with a tendency to pull from side to side when coming to a stop. For sure, I wanted to get this straightened out here. I headed to a coffee shop to answer some emails when suddenly the sky was full of what looked like huge birds. Wait a minute, did I say that or just think it? When the acid flashback wore off, I headed to my buddy Renee's place in Mission. He had the next couple days off from his gig as a Border Patrol officer and was willing to lend a hand with the tire if need be. What's up? How you doing, brother?
Park that thing, partner.
Good seeing you, man.
Brother,
how you doing?
How is it? Man, when you told me you were in Mexico, I was like, cold again.
Yep.
Last time you came, same thing.
Exactly.
Got stuck. Yep. Exact same time of year, everything, man.
Every time.
Yeah. You're looking good, man. You came down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
This front tire is all cupped.
Okay.
It's
oh, yeah, look.
It doesn't even want to go straight.
Jeez. Okay.
Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow.
Okay. Hungry? Good, I know, man. I don't know, but what's good with you?
Today was nice. Today was nice, but yesterday was like high winds.
Oh man.
High winds, rain.
That sucks.
So leaning the bike over that way, and it was raining. Clouds of fog rolling in at the same time.
It rained for the past 3 or 4 days around here, straight, like solid. So man, you pulled in right at the perfect time. So my buddy, he's on his way over, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You met him at Daytona, the shorter guy that was with us,
okay.
Rick, and he's like, what? Like, are you serious? I was like, where's he coming in at? And I'm like, well, he usually crosses San Luis, but he, you know, things change. You know, I told him, I said, as soon as you know, I'll know, whatever. So we're gonna grab dinner. It's all right, because if I'd have told my wife sooner, she would have made something, but. We'll just grab something. It ain't gonna be Mexican, like authentic, but we can grab whatever, something around here real close and just shoot the shit for a while.
I like that paint.
Yeah, it's that matte.
Yeah. Slick Scooter Rick pulled up on a matte gray FLH, and we headed in search of a place to eat. Conditions to the future. Because I'm recording you right now. You're on video. And so, yeah, you guys are in the next video.
Awesome.
So I met these guys at Bike Week last year, about this time last year, almost. They rode all the way from McAllen. They both work at the border. I've been back in the States for about 2 hours.
And now we're eating Khan's Mongolian Grill.
And now I'm seeing this, and it's like I'm in another country, because I guess I am in another country. The guys that work Border Patrol are some of the finest men you'll ever meet. Hanging out with them was a perfect and much needed introduction back into my own culture.
See ya, Rick.
That's why there's this huge wave of people moving to Texas because of its affordability.
Yeah. The next morning, as I was waiting for news on my tire, Renee took me on a VIP tour of the border.
Still building houses. There's still a lot of construction. You name it.
Every time I come through here, it's bigger.
It's a hidden gem, and there's room to expand, right? So that's the big thing. Like these warehouses,
I mean, look at
these
all
companies.
Of this. Wow. There's just nothing but space. Didn't take long before we noticed a helicopter circling overhead.
Usually when they're hovering like that,
They've found something.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Oh wow. And then there's the border.
Yeah. So that's the fence. That's part of the fence around here. Now, what most people don't understand is that the fence is really more on the U.S. side. You can still be on the U.S. side and on the south side of the border, basically. So
yeah, right.
That's it right there. We can pretty much pull right up to it. We can't go through it, but
there's the border.
I don't know how close you've ever come to like the actual border.
But then the border is like a mile that way, right?
You still got a little ways before you can get down into the actual border.
Into the Mexico side.
Yeah. So
okay. And then the river's down there somewhere?
The river is on the other side of that berm.
Okay.
Yeah. And so both sides, right, will be patrolled by Border Patrol agents.
That looks like Mexico over there.
Yeah, this is actually the Junkyard Bar, and it's not brand new. I think it's probably been up and running for about a year or so. But man, you know what? You want to talk about a biker freaking hangout, man? Like big time, absolutely. It's a bar built by bikers for bikers. And agent right now, hopefully we didn't step on a sensor. I don't know if you can see him over there.
Yep.
Okay, no, he's going south, so he's probably got some traffic over there. So if you look, you got the helicopter and the agent below. Yeah. There might be some traffic going on over there. I don't know if you can see that. He's kind of hovering in the same spot.
So he's seeing something.
Looks like there's another agent rolling in right there. They're moving pretty quick.
Moving at a good clip.
For sure they got some bodies in the river or something that's come across that they're definitely gonna grab. So, but it's a big cat and mouse game, man.
I'm gonna say a few things in this video that might seem controversial to some, but it's based on my experiences in the US, Mexico, and at the border. First of all, it's a huge misconception that everybody south of the border wants to come across, which is just not true. In fact, most of the Mexicans I've interacted with express little if any desire to come over. Secondly, one look at the sheer vastness of it all should tell you there's a grave need to secure the border. And third, I'm enthusiastically in favor of sweeping immigration reforms, something which is long overdue, but seems to be swept under the rug no matter who's in office. So what sort of a percentage do you think that you guys catch?
I'd say less than 30%.
Really?
Yeah. Believe it or not, most people, and the media won't show you, but most people fly into an airport with a visa and never leave. But the media and everybody else portrays it that everybody's running across the border.
Across the border, right, right.
I would say 80% of the people come down here on a visa.
And then just don't leave.
That they've got legally from the Department of State to either tourism here, whatever, and they never leave.
I always wondered about that because it's so easy to come in. Yep. You know, all you have to do is get a visa, and anybody can get one, pretty much, right? Unless you have a record.
Yeah, if you've got a record, if you've got a record or some things that might work against you for immigration, you won't qualify for a visa. Looks like they're redoing the little city hall over here, like the little gym. This thing is pretty cool. I wanted to show you this. This is a monument to the service members right here.
Oh, cool.
So we can jump out here, and it's got all the branches displayed right here. We're right here on the border, but man, there's a lot of people have served. A lot of history here. Obviously, Texas is full of so much history. I'm not a history buff, but when I see things, I love to research them and figure out exactly what's going on. And this is a historic cemetery right here. Right here we're next to. There's a historical marker there. There's some pretty important people buried there. This is Anzalduas Bridge, right? Here we are, literally right underneath the bridge. Just that way there's another couple miles, you'll be in Mexico. And
yeah, that's where I came in.
it seems like you're out in the ranch, or you're out in the in the sticks, but man, we're really not. We're literally just a couple miles from from the house, and it really just goes to show you how simple it is to kind of make it across.
Yeah.
Looks like they either picked up a group here or they're loading up a group. So you can kind of see that they've caught quite a decent sized group. The bus is here to transport them.
And so where does that bus go?
That bus is going to go from here to a processing facility. So all of those migrants are going to be, they'll be given a health screening, they'll be fed. Just real quick, I want to show you that hole in the fence. I just saw it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to bother these guys because they'll probably get a little hinky.
Yeah.
But we won't get too close. But if you look right there, I don't know if you can zoom in on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
right there.
now they've already crossed at this point, so that's no border fence. That's that's
right.
You can tell that that's been used like a deer trail, man. Like peel off so these guys don't come and get a little touchy. So unfortunately, it's just really easy to. You can see a bunch of sections that have been kind of chicken wired together. So there's a section right there. There's another section right there, and I'm sure we've actually come in and put those together. So it's interesting work, man. Like these orchards here, you can kind of see that's a citrus orchard. Just makes it that much more more hiding ground, right? More hiding and or hunting ground, however you want to take a look at it. So
okay, so then the bus goes to the detention center. They get sort of like checked out, and then what happens to them after that?
So then they'll start the process of determining, why they're coming to the U.S. Do they have any status in the U.S.? Are they requesting any type of asylum? Are they looking for some type of help from the U.S.? Why are they here?
Right.
99% of the cases, the people will be returned to Mexico. Don't quote me on that number, right? But it's big. Sometimes they get released in the U.S. and sometimes they're held at those facilities for further processing.
Really?
Yeah. If they've got any ties, any criminal, anything like that, they'll be held. But if they're what's considered really low risk, they'll be released.
Really?
Absolutely. That's
part of the wall?
Yeah, they're working on the wall there.
Wow, look at that. Do you ever catch anybody sneaking across that's an American citizen?
Oh, you know
back
what?
into the U.S. illegally?
Believe it or not, there's U.S. citizens that are smugglers, man.
Yeah.
So, like, they basically, if they get intercepted by Border Patrol and then they're a U.S. citizen, well, the infractions are a little limited, right? So it's not.
Yeah.
Because
what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to send them back to.
Yeah. That's one thing is that we don't deport our own citizens. Has it happened before? Yes. Will it happen again? I'm sure. But traditionally, we don't, knowingly deport U.S. citizens. But it's happened before. I mean, instead of putting the wall right on the border, they left a big gap because you got to give, that terrain down there is, I mean, in the middle of the night when it's pitch black, I mean, that's some tough area to cover. Here's where we actually have armed military personnel. I think this is Texas Army National Guards, man.
Okay.
But they've been deployed down here to the border to help support this mission, man. And these guys are a lifesaver, man.
Really?
Like, absolutely. So they're full battle rattle, man. They're ready to rock and roll. If need be, armed, which is, not stuff that makes the evening news, you know what I mean? Like, once you go place in the military on the border, definitely sets a different tone.
After getting the runaround for a while, I finally found a shop with my size tire, so I followed Renee to RGV Cycle Stuff on 10th Street. got there, we found an old school bike shop specializing in Harleys with fair prices. This is the type of stuff you only see in the old school biker shops.
Oh yeah, you couldn't put this in. Do you imagine? Are these Avons?
I think
bet
so.
they are.
Probably so.
Wow.
The lead mechanic told us 30 minutes, so we headed next door for a burger. My first taste of American food since being back. Obviously not on my diet today. Today is definitely a cheat.
It's my fault. It's my
This
fault.
is
Trust
not,
me.
yeah,
It's
man.
my fault.
Always pulling
You know
me down.
what? Yeah, I'm bringing him down with me.
You're worse than Lily. So this is RGV cycle stuff. The RGV is the Rio Grande Valley, right?
Rio Grande Valley.
Got my tire taken care of. My front tire was completely cupped. Anytime I came to a stop, it would either pull to the left or the right. So I got this new Shinko on there. Usually a cheap tire.
It's a cheaper tire.
It's a cheap
but
tire.
in a pinch, you know, like I said.
People from Texas are just some of the nicest people in the world.
Well, you know what? You know where I'm at, man. Come on by anytime.
Thank you, brother.
Like I said, it's always a blast. You know where
Yeah,
I'm at, man.
absolutely,
Come down.
absolutely.
By all means, make sure you stop by. If I'm here, be here. I'll catch you at Daytona this year, and I'll catch you at Sturgis for sure. Yeah, we're gonna be there. We'll get on the road. Yes. Oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. I need to put new batteries in it. Yeah. Okay. You just reminded me. Yeah. So we'll be there. We'll definitely get the lay of the land and go from there, man.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. With my new tire riding true, I hurried on past Corpus Christi to Victoria, where I'd heard about an old rundown camp next to a river. The cost was free and the price was right. As I rode away, I thought about what I'd seen at the border. Those folks getting busted, the wide open expanse of it all. Policing the whole thing seemed like a fantasy. To a layman, it would appear the answer is both to secure the border while at the same time implementing reforms to make it easier for the good, hardworking folks. Unfortunately, this is a complex issue which has been deeply tainted by politics, with the majority of politicians obviously having no idea what's going on at the border. Found to be some largemouth bass in that river. So I'm in Victoria, Texas. Left Renee's place early this morning around 9 o'clock. Found this place, which is absolutely free. Got these little concrete picnic tables and all kinds of interesting trees and stuff like that. A little playground over there, it looks like. Literally just pulled in, so I hadn't had time to scout out a spot, but basically my criteria for out here is about the same as anywhere. Because I'm right next to a body of water, I have to assume that there's going to be a certain level of humidity through the night. And basically what I want to do is find some trees, any kind of tree cover that keeps all the dew from condensing on top of my tent. So this looks good. This actually, that tree's got some leaves left, some Spanish moss and stuff. That's probably going to be my best option. Everything else out here is looking pretty sparse. Ground's a little uneven, which is really annoying. So that's got good cover right there, but the ground sucks. Beautiful ground. Kind of a bitch to get into. Let's see if there's another way in here. Ground's a little soft. That's always a consideration. It's like kind of swampland out here. Ain't getting through that. just off the beaten path a little bit. It's just a little more quiet, a little more peaceful, so. Apparently I wasn't the only one who thought this was a good spot, as I would hear some unexpected visitors making snorting sounds around my camp for most of the night. Walking around, this whole place is full of wild animals. I didn't realize it back in there, but there's what sounded like were a lot of wild hogs walking around and snorting and things like that. I was tempted to move my camp, but had I stumbled on a bunch of them and surprised them, it would probably be a different story. I'm told that they really don't like that. So, oh, raccoons or something got into my chicken that I left. Tied onto a tree branch, half a rotisserie chicken. Some kind of enterprising animals managed to get it out of the tree branch and down to the ground where they broke into it. So I'm out half a rotisserie chicken, but there's the river. Foggy, but yeah, beautiful day in East Texas. I knew Texas had a wild hog problem, but damn, being surrounded by them at night was a new one on me. If I lived here, I'd hunt as many of them as I could. I'd live like Rambo in the woods, face painting everything, hunting hogs all day long and making bacon, and Lily would cook the meat and we'd give it to our neighbors and they'd say stuff like, "Hey, thanks, Joe." Since I need a pretty big ass freezer to store all that meat, I discarded the idea and hit the gas. Next leg of my East Texas Odyssey took me clear through Houston and spit me out on the Louisiana Bayou. Of course, I couldn't really say I'd been through Texas without first stopping at the incredible, the unbelievable Buc-ee's convenience store. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now present you with the 8th wonder of the world, the truck stop to end all truck stops, the great Buc-ee's. So Buc-ee's, I believe, is a Texas creation. It's absolutely huge. They've got all kinds of pre-made food. It's kind of like a big ass souvenir shop slash truck stop slash everything. Good stuff. Absolutely incredible. Every time I step into one of these, I'm absolutely blown away. Look at this. Hides. I ordered some Texas barbecue pork, bought some Buc-ee's chapstick, and prepared to ride through Houston, Texas. The city of Houston is one of my favorites in the U.S. It's always laid back, and there's an unbelievable amount of international food and culture well represented, while always maintaining the laid-back feel of a small Texas town. I mean, where else can you find people from all over the world telling you to just have a nice day now? Or for that matter, a Mexican girl running an army surplus store carrying a 9mm on her hip with a shirt that says, "Just try and take it." That's Houston in a nutshell. In past years, I've spent a decent amount of time here living on a motorcycle, but as I was still paranoid about making it to Florida in time, I pressed on towards Louisiana. After I crossed into Louisiana, I pulled up to a campground. The place was $4 a night, I was told, and had electricity and hot showers. The owner broke my balls for interrupting his dinner and told me I could stay for free, as there'd been a cancellation. We is in the bayou. Basically, I found this place. They're charging $4 a night for tent camping. There's the swamp over that way. He said somebody canceled on him and said, yeah, just pull it in there and don't worry about it. So this one's on the house. There's the Louisiana bayou. Later that night, the owner pulled up on a UTV to make sure I was in the right spot, a good old boy from the bayou, and explained that 2 hurricanes had taken out most of his trees. We talked about fishing for a while, and he headed back to his abode. The sun went down and I said goodnight to Louisiana.